What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. Hype. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. This Jez, man. Somebody said, well, it was, I believe it was Everborn Saga. I've been listening to their show today, Gaming Circle Podcast. I believe it was him. He said that Jez, it might have been Lucius. One of them said Jez needs to be more responsible with his polls. Well, I guess it was just for that poll. Of course, the poll that I'm talking about is what we've been talking about for the last couple of videos: exclusives versus Game Pass. Actually, I think their title was Game Pass versus exclusives. Anyway, it's a simplification of a very complex topic. Now, I am with Dirt and Sean, exclusives, and why. But here's the thing. I said this in my last video. When I'm talking about exclusives, I'm talking about games not going to PlayStation. That's it. I'm not talking about PC. I'm not talking about Steam. I'm not talking about anything. That's been said, it's done and dusted. It's been in the works for over 10 years. So that's not an issue with me. It's not an issue. Games going to PC still exclusive because the ecosystem exists on PC as well. But as far as getting that console sold, getting people to buy Helix, now they were talking about exclusives for the launch. And so I say, well, I mean, is that an exception? Is that okay? Of course it's not. For some people, they're like, exclusives don't matter anymore. The market's too saturated, so saturated that it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. If it didn't matter, then PlayStation wouldn't be pulling their games off of PC. Because it does matter. Because people will buy your console, your hardware, if that's the only place they can play the game they want to play. Period. If you want to go watch a Disney show, where you gonna go? It's on Disney Plus. No other place. Where you gonna go? You gonna go to Netflix and try to watch it? You can't watch it there. You gotta watch it where? Disney. You wanna go watch Daredevil? Where you gonna watch it? It ain't on Netflix. It ain't on Paramount Plus. It ain't on Prime. It's on Disney Plus. So you gotta pay for that Disney Plus exclusive. That's what it's about. And the whole premise and the whole argument that's happening around this poll is asinine because they're not considering the nuances of the actual statements that Asha and Matt Booty made. Okay, they just they're not even putting into consideration anything that they said. They're just going off of their feelings and they're saying, I want Game Pass because it's just more pro-consumer. Blah, blah. I'm like, listen, everyone loves Game Pass. That's not the argument. And the people who are saying we want exclusives, it's not a either or. It's not exclusives or Game Pass. That's not how it works. And that's not how it's going to work. Because Asha literally said, we're going to look at windowing, we're going to look at all. They are going to do exclusives. She said it without saying it specifically. So, you know what windowing means? A window time where the game is exclusive. We are witnessing it right now. Forza Horizon 6 is exclusive to Xbox, not on PlayStation. And that's what I want. That's what I want. You could do it forever exclusive. You could do it windowed. I don't care. As long as that FOMO exists for those PlayStation ponies, they can't play the game. They gotta wait. Or you can just go buy an Xbox. Or you could go and play it on PC. That's what's up. And that whole thing right there is what made all Xbox fans mad, is because, we finally getting games and you put them on PlayStation. Like, what is this? We didn't have a problem with it going on PC because that's always been like the case. But the whole argument is that it's either Game Pass or it's exclusive. If you're for exclusives, then you want to kill Game Pass. I'm like, who said that? No one said that. Y'all are making that up. Y'all are creating this environment and this narrative of stuff that doesn't exist, because no one said anything about Game Pass going away. No one said anything. I'm talking about the CEOs over at Xbox. Asha, no one said anything about pulling any other first party games off of Game Pass. The only one was Call of Duty, and that's because that's the biggest game in the industry, basically, and reasons. But everything else is a reason why Game Pass exists. The whole thing, the main reason why many people sub to Game Pass is because of those day-and-date games. And so that's not even an option. If they do that, Game Pass is worthless, just like PS Plus is worthless. There's no reason to sub for it. So if you take into consideration those things, then yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? But so anyway, back to the argument and why people like Doc Dark. I mean, they were getting to it. They were like, okay, I can see how they can do a couple of games exclusive, Halo's exclusive, blah, 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 because PlayStation pulled games off of that were literally promoted as being on Xbox, and then they pulled it. They money had the games, and then they're not on Xbox. They were time exclusives. So I'm like, this. It's not like, oh, they're doing it, so we should do it. These are the rules of engagement, and it is not necessary for Xbox to do these things, the tactics that PlayStation employs, but it is not against any rules, right? These are the rules. They're setting the rules. So if Xbox does that with their own stuff, what does it matter? If they say, okay, well, you know what, we said that Halo was going up, but we're pulling it because we feel that it's more important for it to be on Xbox and PC and not on PlayStation, and have a good day. What's wrong with that? They did it with Stellar Blade. They did it with Wukong. They did it with there's some other game I can't remember. Why is it okay for PlayStation to do it and not Xbox? Anyway, going back to the poll that is asinine. So the arguments that were happening was, oh, you can, if you want exclusives, then you want to kill Game Pass. That's not it. If you're saying that, then you're idiots and you're stupid, like how you're saying that people who want exclusives are stupid. The whole thing about the exclusivity argument, and this is why I agree with Dirt and Sean, is because it is a nuanced answer. And if you're doing black and white, then you're not in the discussion. You're just there to yell and scream and make noise. So the answer is, and this is what will happen. I'm predicting it right now. So you'll put it on your bingo card or whatever. This is what will happen. Like she said, windowing. So that's already happening with Forza Horizon 6. Windowing. So timed exclusives happening. They've already been happening. Starfield was a time exclusive. What else was the time? I can't remember. That's the more recent one that I can remember. It's happening. It's always been happening. They never not did it. So okay, yeah. As far as just whole exclusives, taking them away, that's a possibility too. But here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna follow a similar tactic, if you will, with the multiplayer games. Like if you notice, like Forza Horizon 5, that's a games of service game, basically. I mean, you could play it as a solo game. That's how I'm playing it. You don't ever have to connect and join a group or whatever, join a clan or join a party. You don't ever have to do that. There's an option in the menus. You could be like, do a car meet or whatever. You don't have to do it. It's cool if you do, because it's like a whole different level. If you play Eliminator, I don't know if Eliminator is in this one, but Eliminator was in the last one. That's Battle Royale racing. It's crazy. It's crazy. If y'all like Battle Royale games and you like racing, play Eliminator. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. I never won. I think I was like second place at one time. I was like, dang. It's like some stupid, like one turn I missed. Anyway. So games like Forza Horizon 6 already timed exclusive. So that's you put that on okay, that's happening. So exclusivity is already happening. So you guys arguing the point that, oh, if they are already doing it. All right. So boom, that's done, right? So now they have so many games, right? They have so many games in the pipeline. I got as a line in one of my songs that I'm writing. It's called what's the line? Plethora of games in the lane, say less. That's part of So they got a plethora of game. They have a plethora of games in the lane, and so some of them are going to be exclusive based off the data. And that's what she said. She said, we're going to look at the data. We're going to see. And there was only like 2 or 3 games that were worth them putting it over. Well, maybe 4. I would say the high 6 figures, if the game makes that, because I'm not actually sure how much it costs to port the game. If it's like $1 million to port the game, then nah. But if it's like, a couple hundred, like, $300,000 to port the game, then you'd be like, all right, so then we make 500, we make a little bit of money. But is that little bit of money worth it? Maybe. We'll see. But that's kind of like the intricacies of the finances. But if you look at Forza Horizon 5, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, those 3 games, all multiplayer games, all games of service games, they made millions. And so in that instance, and they're older games, and so in that instance, yes, that's worth it. And so games like that, just like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, those games are on PlayStation. They've been there for a while. They're not going to take them away. Minecraft, it's on PlayStation because they're making that money off of Realms and all that stuff. So yes, some games, they have already been on PlayStation for years. So you're acting like exclusives is something new, but the way that the narrative happened, the way that all these things happened, the way that Phil did just 4 games and then everybody took it out of context. They took what he said at the moment out of context and they're applying it to now when that's not how the English language works. Even though I'm struggling with words, that's not how it works. He said at the time, no, just these 4 games. And then we're going to look and see what happens and we're going to learn and study and whatever he said. I was like, okay, so possibility of more games come, basically. But y'all don't want to say that. Y'all want to take a little snippet of what he said and then say, oh, he lied. It's like, no, he didn't. He said exactly what he did, and and this is part of the console war rhetoric. But at the same time, Asha and Matt and Stein, I put Greeny in there too. He's still there. Everybody else, and the new cats, the 2 new cats. This is not the same Xbox. Just like PlayStation is not the same PlayStation in a bad way. Hi, Bungie. This is not the same Xbox in a good way. And so the plan is timed exclusives. Obviously, that's happening already. And also windowing, which is the time exclusive. And also there will be select exclusive games based off of the size of the game, the size of the budget. Like South of Midnight should have never went to PlayStation because it didn't sell well or whatever. Doom the Dark Ages, probably not. That didn't sell well either. And I don't think, like I said, the cost, like the money they made, didn't make up for what they cost in porting it, and also the brand damage that it kind of did. I mean, it's like it's more of a general feeling about any Xbox game going over there, and so that's an issue. So a lot of people are saying, I mean, Keasante said it, not Keasante, Airborne Saga said it. He said Halo campaign evolved, that doesn't need to go on PlayStation, and I think they already announced it for PlayStation 5. But I'm like, I agree with him, because that's what Paris said it. He said it. Without Halo, there is no Xbox. And without Xbox, there is no Game Pass. So, just follow the line. Halo, exclusive. Xbox, get bloated up. Game Pass, still good. It's all connected. And people are saying, oh, it's either Game Pass or exclusive. It's like, that's not how it works. Y'all know that's not how it works. But y'all try to do this bad faith argument. Sorry. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to get that real quick off. I know we've been talking about this for forever and ever, the last 3, 4, 5, 69 videos. But I watched Dirt and Sean's latest it wasn't WBG, it was TTS, and I was like Dirt was like, he wasn't in the best mood. I mean, they were still cracking the jokes and laughing, thanks to the chat and stuff. But yeah, no, he wasn't the same Dirt. And I'm looking at him like, man, he looked a little upset. because of what's going on. And I'm like, what's going on is not even necessary. I mean, thanks, Jez. I like Jez. I like Rand. But, dude, put up another poll or something. You need to fix this. You need to write an article or something. You need to do something. Do an interview. Get some answers. Do something, because you did a lot of damage with that stupid poll. And look. I mean, I'm not the smartest. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I can distinguish between the nuances of these things that are happening. The whole the discussion about exclusives and Game Pass and all that stuff. And it's not black and white. It's not like, oh yeah, it's either this or that. It's like, no, that's stupid. It's like, it's almost like you're Sony, and you're like, oh well, we didn't sell that much on PC, so all the single player games coming off. I was like, that's stupid, because if they put Wolverine on PC, it would probably sell more than PlayStation version. It would, just like Helldivers did. Even though Helldivers is a multiplayer game, still, a good game is a good game. A good game's gonna sell, just like Forza Horizon 6. Now, people are giving me the argument of, oh, if Forza Horizon 6 was on PlayStation, it would have sold more. Yeah, but the reason why it's not is because they prioritize making the game for the Xbox and PC, and they only have so many resources, and so it's either delay the game to have that port ready, or put it out when it's done on these two, and that's the smarter business move. And so now you see the hype that's happening with Forza Horizon 6, right? So it's like everybody's like, yo, it's the best game of the year, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, over the ponies and donkey unicorns over there in FOMO land, because they're like, I don't want to play that game, so they gotta wait. And when it comes out on PlayStation 5, if it does, maybe I shall yank it, but I'll probably assume that it will, because it's game service. But when it does come out, it's gonna get another bump. It's gonna get another 5, 10. I would say it probably do better than Forza Horizon 5. Probably do like 10 million, because Japan. And the funny thing is, like, you're like, oh, Sony, that's a Japanese company. I mean, yeah, but PlayStation is not. I mean, they're based in Japan, but I don't think that I really wouldn't consider them Japanese anymore, only because of, I mean, actually they're getting back to it, but the guy in charge of games is not a Japanese person. He's what is he, Dutch? I forget where he's from, but yeah, no, he's not. I mean, the CEO, yes, yeah, he is. The main guy of PlayStation is, but the guy in charge of the games, not so much. And back when Kaz was, I mean, he did his mistakes. Ridge Racer, giant enemy crabs. Remember that? They used to have kind of like this feeling, this aura of Japan, but now it's been infiltrated by the West. Specifically Britannia, Albion, if you will, not Fable though. Yeah, so Jim Ryan ruined it. I guess Andrew House was the first Brit that was in there. What was that other guy's name? Phil something else, some other Phil. Not Phil Spencer, obviously. Not Peter Moore. Peter Moore was at Xbox. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going off. I'm tangenting a little bit, but yes, I am for specific, targeted exclusives. Let's start a new phrasing. Let's start some new verbiage in this discussion. Okay, targeted exclusives. Game Pass stays exactly as it is. They get all of the day ones, that except for Call of Duty. Call of Duty kick rocks. Who cares? If you want Call of Duty, you go buy it. And that's, I mean, the main thing about that is Call of Duty is a giant seller every year. So if they're taking away sales, then that's messing with the bottom line. So them returning it back to there is going to give them more money in the end. So it's a smart business move, and it also gives, I don't want to say a lifeline, but it gives more of a potential, I would say, success for Game Pass, because it's not hindering that aspect of the finances. So like, they're making their money on Call of Duty, boom. And they said a year later it'll come into Game Pass, and then like for me, I'm just gonna play the campaign, so it doesn't matter when I play it, right? I'm still waiting for Infinite Warfare to drop because I haven't played that campaign. I want to play that. But anyway, you know, all these changes or whatever. It's. I mean, people just take it, and they went way off with it, and it's ridiculous. I'm listening to a lot of PC guys talk about keep Game Pass and forget about exclusives, and that is because they're PC gamers and they want the games. That's what the thing is. And so exclusive endangers their potential enjoyment of said games. Now, that's PlayStation, not Xbox. Xbox isn't going PC. They're not taking their games off of PC like PlayStation is. They're just taking their games off of PlayStation. And that's what I want. Honestly, I'd be like, take all the games. PlayStation get nothing. If PlayStation got... Look, you could say, look, we're going to take a loss. We're not going to take a loss. We're not going to make as much money as we would if we put the games on PlayStation. But honestly, it was only 3 games that made a whole bunch of money. Everything else was like pittance. So let's just do this. We'll do a few big games, only games of service. Everything else, not going to PlayStation. Xbox, let's go. And they have so many games. It's like, boom. I wish Fable would have been exclusive. I was kind of, because that's going to be a good game. But I can see why they put it on PlayStation. This is why. Because it's a British studio. It's a British game. It's got a lot of British jokes, British actors. It's British. And there's a giant PlayStation contingent customer base in Britain. So I understand that. So I'm like, okay. Still, if it was time to give them, we'll give them 6 months, that would be better. And maybe they still will do that. I mean, because they say it's coming out. I don't know if they said day one on all the things. I can't remember what the tweet said, but anyway, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm a little tired. I appreciate y'all hanging out, showing this, man. Like and subscribe. Hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this argument. Go listen to the Gaming Circle podcast with, K. Sante, Lucius, Everborn Saga, Paris showed up, Dark Doc showed up, somebody else was in there I didn't recognize, VG Fight School showed up. It was they called it the Avengers. It was a bunch of brothers on there. I was like, yo, that's what's up. But yeah, Doc is a little sensational. He going a little crazy over there, but at the end, he was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, everybody's on the same page as far as that goes. But the poll put it in a certain kind of light, and that's where I'm like, come on, son. So Jazz, man, get your act together, Jazz. Anyway, I appreciate. I'll talk to you on the next one. Till to wait.